Hello. If you're watching this, you missed day one of our week 17 computer science principles lecture, and we are talking about regular expressions, which is a really cool, often underlooked topic in computer science, and it's very powerful. So let's get into it. Got a short warm up, and then just spending the class talking about regular expressions, what they are, how to use them. Let's get started. So warm up, not much really going on here, just kind of getting you thinking about what we're talking about. When you hit Control F on your keyboard, what does that do? Well, lets you find something, right? What are the mechanics behind that? How does the computer actually accomplish this? That's what we're really in the neighborhood of today. Now, there's a great video posted here. I'm not going to play it for you right now. I recommend you go and watch it. This summarizes what regular expressions are in a short amount of time, and I think it's quite worth your time. Now, I will show you a couple of examples of regular expressions, and then I'll explain the assignment. And really, the best way to learn how to do this is by doing it yourself. So watch this video. It's posted on my MCPS under Modules, Week 17 Slides. Then, go ahead and try it yourself in the assignment. That's really the way to do it. But before you do that, what are regular expressions? Let's take a look here together. So a regular expression is something that allows you to match a set of characters without necessarily knowing what they're going to be ahead of time based on a pattern. So this is very powerful. Let's say, for instance, we have here a regular expression. The way you declare a regular expression inside of JavaScript is by using two forward slashes and typing between them. So anything I put between these two is then regarded as a pattern rather than a literal word or character or series of characters. So in this case, my pattern is the letter A. Pretty boring pattern. Let's say I have a variable. I'll call it input, and I'm going to assign it the value Africa. What I can do is I can use various keywords. These are actually functions that you can run on strings, which this is a string. In this case, I'm using match, but there's a slew of other ones that are explained in the video, and you can learn about yourself, that will then go ahead and do something with regular expressions. So match will look at input, in this case Africa, and try to match every single instance of the pattern that we're looking for. So if I run this, it's going to say, well, I found one, A at the beginning. You might say big wood. What's the point of that? Well, there's all sorts of other things you can do. For instance, you might look for something that starts with an A, but you don't know what the rest of it is. Well, I'm going to put in some magic characters in here. You'll learn about these yourselves. And this would match the entire word Africa. So if we were looking for all words that start with an A, we could add a little G to the end of this, which would mean look for all instances of. And we could find a bunch of different ones. Now, okay, pretty lame, unclear why this would be useful. Let's take a look at a real life example. So this is something very common. Let's say you're filling out an online form and you are instructed to put in a phone number. How does that form know if you've typed in a valid phone number or not? Surely you've come across this before. You mess up a digit, have too few, too many, accidentally put in a word or something. The form tells you, hey, that's not a real phone number. What are you doing? Well, how does it do that? This is how. This thing up here, this really complicated line with all sorts of crazy stuff going on, this is a regular expression. I'm going to dissect it for you in just a moment here, but understand that what this is this is a pattern that matches only valid phone numbers and nothing else, ideally. This function here simply checks to see if what we send to it, phone input, matches exactly to our regular expression. If it does, then we say, all right, good job. Here, way to enter a real phone number. If it doesn't, it says there's a problem. So let's try it. If I put in something like this, something like this, with some dashes, that kind of looks like a real phone number, right? If I run that, it says, thanks, your number is correct. Now, if I mess up, let's say I accidentally type in a letter here, that's not a real phone number, it says, no, that's not correct. So how does it do that? Well, everything between these two slashes, everything I've highlighted here, is a regular expression. And all of these symbols have some kind of meaning. So what makes regular expressions tricky is the syntax for them is really confusing and can be very, very difficult and dense. So in order to really understand these, it's important that you build them up very slowly and incrementally. Start with a very, very small bit, test it, make sure it works the way you expect, and then add on to it. Don't try to write this whole line at once. That would be insane, then you would be driven insane, and then your code would be insane, and then no one would be happy. So let's see here. We start off with a parenthesis. Parentheses in regular expressions outline groups that you might want to either save, replace, do something with later. So this is a way for you to manipulate a part of the text in some manner. Question mark colon means, although this is a group, we're not going to keep track of it. It's not important to us. We're just outlining it for ourselves to make it easier. So this is going to be our area code. We don't really need to keep track of it. We're just going to make sure that this is the area code. Like we know it's a single part of what we're looking for. And the area code could either be /d, meaning a digit, and then 3 in these curly braces, meaning 3 of them. So either just 3 digits, or this pipe means or, slash parenthesis means literally a parenthesis, 3 digits, and then literally a closing parenthesis. So we're either looking for a format like this with parentheses or one without parentheses. Either will be correct. Oh, well, if I put in a real number, that is. Like so. So see, that is correct. Then we have a second group. In the second group, we're looking for either a dash or a dot. Well, let's see what happens. So that means we can either put dashes or dots. That's pretty cool. Or if we really wanted to, we could even put in slashes. Oh, I mean, I don't know anyone who writes their phone number like this, but I guess you could. Now, last but not least, we have 3 more digits. And then look at this. /1 means look at this group here and repeat whatever is in there. So this would be valid. But if I went something like this, now by itself a dash would be correct if we put it in both places. But this looks really strange, right? That won't work. And the reason is it looks to see that whatever you got here is the same thing that you get over here. Kind of neat. And last but not least, 4 more digits. So altogether, all of this works to create a valid phone number. And you need every single piece to work in conjunction with the other pieces. All right. So you're not expected to write anything this complicated in this class. Just something to think about as far as real-life applications. Let's take a look at what you are expected to do. So you're going to work through this assignment right here, 41301. It is due Wednesday, the 23rd. And give you a little guideline for various special characters you can use. This is not extensive, but it should get you started. Your task is to go to this website, regex1.com, and do the first 11 lessons. They have 15 lessons and also 10 or 9 challenges. The challenges are hard, so if you want to challenge yourself, go for it. Let me give you an example of how to do this first one. So we need to match all 3 of these patterns. Well, what can we type in? We could type in ABC. All 3 of them have that in common, so we'll match all 3. Now, ideally, in the future, I'd like you to try to match every single one fully, if you can. So that's a little harder to do, especially in this first one when they haven't taught you how. But it would be a more meaningful exercise if you were able to do that. Sometimes you'll have to skip some. It'll say match these, but don't match these. You need to make sure you do that your matching pattern only matches the things you want and doesn't match the things you don't want. That's a real life thing that sometimes happens, right? Now in this example, just to show you exactly how you would do it if you wanted to match all of these, you could type in something like any character and then some number of them. This is a really lazy way to do regular expressions. Dot star will match literally anything, so you want to try to usually avoid it, but in this particular case, it's perfectly acceptable. So this would be a good solution. So we can Control C it and then paste it into here. And then once you've got them all, submit the assignment, and I'll give you full credit. If you have any questions or concerns, please email me. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you guys after the break. Have good holidays.